Hey Anna.
Hi.
What's new in the trucking business? Are you guys busy?
Very busy right now.
What's going on? A lot of people opening their own trucking companies?
A lot of people opening up corporations and opening up IRP accounts right now.
So actually, it might be a good time to start your own trucking company, huh?
It's the perfect time.
Are there any delays? How quickly can you get everything done if I decide to buy my own truck, go on my own, and just start my own trucking company, or just become owner-operator?
Right.
From start to finish, how long does everything take here in Illinois?
So if we're opening up IRP in Illinois, that right now there's a long wait. It's about 5 to 6 weeks until you receive an approval.
And what is that? What is an IRP?
So an IRP is an international registration plan, and it allows you to have plates that give you the permission to travel to all states in the country.
Just a license plate?
Yeah, just a license plate and the registration.
Can you operate a commercial vehicle without a license plate?
No.
So if I buy a truck and I get everything done, I cannot actually get on the road before I get my IRP, my license plates.
Absolutely,
correct?
yes. You have to get started on that as soon as possible, especially with the wait time right now.
So it's not as easy as just buying a car, going to currency exchange, getting a plate sticker done.
I wish it was that easy. With trucks, commercial trucks, you definitely need to go through the IRP process.
Wow. How much does it cost here in Illinois?
So if you're paying for the full year, it's around $1,800 for a semi-truck. It could go up to like $2,200 depending. There's a few factors that go into play, but normally depending, it's around $1,800, and our service fee as well.
What about the renewal?
Renewal would be around $1,800 to $2,200 estimated for a semi.
Do you have to renew your plate 12 months after your initial registration, or how does that work here in Illinois?
In Illinois, it's a little bit different. So in Illinois, it goes from April 1st to March 31st every year.
Okay, so if I buy a truck in August and I register right now, do I still pay the full $1,800 or is it prorated?
Prorated per month. So really depending on the month that you're doing registration, and they also change the fees depending on the quarter. As the quarters go on, the fees decrease.
So then at the end of March of next year, so just in a few months, I'll have to renew the plates again and then pay the $1,800,
Yes,
right?
correct.
How do they determine the amount of the renewal fee?
It all depends on your mileage. So the state is going to require 4 separate quarters of miles, and those miles need to be broken down per state. The more miles you have, essentially, the cheaper your invoice will be. We always say that if you have IRP plates, it's better to leave the state of Illinois, go to different states. It'll only help your invoice be cheaper.
Really?
Yes.
So the more you drive, the cheaper it gets?
Absolutely, yeah.
Wow, okay. So get to work, drivers.
Go to all those different states.
I can only imagine getting the license plate is only one tiny piece of the entire process of starting a trucking company.
Yes.
Or becoming an owner-operator. Can you walk us through the process? What happens from the moment you buy your own truck, or maybe you should do something before you even get a truck?
I would definitely look into insurance. Insurance is a big factor. We don't do insurance here in our office, but we do have somebody that we can refer you to. But insurance would be number one, just to see what the rates would be. Making sure that you have a corporation established, and then if you do want to operate under your own DOTMC or under somebody else's.
Can you help out with starting a corporation?
Yes.
Okay. And once you open the corporation, I can only imagine this should be done before buying a truck so that everything was registered to the corporate name, not your personal name, correct?
If that's what you prefer, we do recommend having a corporation established. That way you put all of your equipment under that corp, you open up your IFTA accounts, your IRP will be under your corporation name too.
And what's next?
From there, we have to wait for the IRP to be approved. So with the 5 to 6 week wait, we should get started as soon as possible, but we have to gather all of your documents, make sure everything is submitted in the correct format, and then essentially we wait for an approval, but you don't get a temp in Illinois anymore for your first plate.
Can you cheat the system and apply for the registration before you buy a truck? If I find one online and just give it like a fake VIN number or anything like that?
No, because you do need to provide documents, copy of title, copy of bill of sale. We need to make sure that that VIN number, that title is the current copy as well.
So I can literally just buy a truck and I might have my first truck payment even before I start driving and making money?
Unfortunately, yes. That's how it is for a lot of our customers right now. They're making payments on something that they can't use at this moment.
So they do have to think about the budget and make sure that they have enough money to survive the first month or two because
Absolutely.
they won't be able to drive.
Yeah, so that it aligns with their budget and if they can make it work.
What else do we need for the truck to be road legal? Any stickers, any permits?
Yes, IFTA stickers, essential, that's number one. We always say do not go on the road if you don't have IFTA stickers on the truck. Even if we email you a copy of your IFTA license upon IFTA approval, you still can't go on the road. You do need to have those stickers on the doors.
Is that something you provide, or are they mailed to the owner from the state?
They are mailed directly from Springfield, from the capital. So they're sent to the customer. We don't keep any in our office. We don't even have any that are sent to us. So they're mailed directly to the customer, to their address.
Okay. If we travel interstate, do we need any permits?
Yes, you would need, depending on what states you are going to, there's specific permits. There's Connecticut, Kentucky, New Mexico, New York. There's also Oregon if you need that one as well.
Okay, let's go back to the IFTA sticker. Once you get your IFTA license and your IFTA sticker, are you good for life, or what's going on with the IFTA?
Sure. So with IFTA, it gets renewed once a year by the end of the year. It's very important to make sure you have the new stickers by January 1st. Essentially, it expires on December 31st. So as long as you're renewed and you have the new stickers, you should be all set. But once a year.
IFTA is the fuel tax, right?
Yes.
Do you have to file any returns for that?
Quarterly, yes. So 4 times a year, and we can help you out with that too.
And what do you do when you have to file the quarterly IFTA return? What do you need?
We would need your miles and your gallons per state. That can either come from ELD reports, fuel card reports. Some drivers even do written out statements on a driver log. And then there's also the option of showing us your fuel receipts if you don't use a fuel card.
If someone has never been an owner-operator, this is their first year, first rodeo, and is there anything they can do to prepare themselves for the first IFTA filing for the first quarter?
I would just say it is highly recommended to make sure you have a reliable ELD provider and that you are keeping track of all of those miles, because there's certain drivers that are not aware you need to keep those records, and then time comes to file and we don't have the proper reports. They don't have a way of locating them because the records weren't being kept. So it's
so we need good ELD for the miles?
Yes.
What about the gallons, the fuel?
I would recommend a fuel card. There's many options out there, but fuel card would be my number one recommendation.
And just using one form of payment, the fuel card, it will tell you exactly where you get your gas, where you get your diesel, how many gallons and everything, right?
Yes.
So if someone pays a little bit of cash, then credit card, then fuel card, and loses the receipts, would that complicate the process?
It would, because then you have so many different types of records you're keeping track of. Then come time at the end of the quarter when things are busy, you have to gather all those documents. And what if you lose certain receipts, or you can't keep track of what you paid for with cash?
Are there any penalties for misrepresenting the amount of miles and gallons?
Well, the state does catch on, depending. There's certain companies that we've had to ask them to correct their reports and provide us real numbers for miles and gallons. They essentially sometimes divide the miles by, let's say, even 5 mpg. And that ends up raising a red flag in the IFTA system.
So it does happen that
Yes.
drivers will just give you whatever
yes.
numbers, yeah?
Absolutely. We see it every quarter, actually, quite often.
Really?
Yes, but we just guide them. It's all a learning experience, so that's what we're here for. We're here to help.
Okay.
Once we catch that, we give them a call. We let them know, hey, this isn't the right way to keep the records.
Okay, so you'll catch it before even sending it out
Yes.
to the state.
Yes.
Okay, so the people don't get in trouble.
Yeah, hopefully not.
Anything else? Any other surprise fees that we should be aware of?
$22.90 highway use tax.
That sounds very complicated.
That's what we're here for. We're here to help with that too. So highway use tax gets paid also once a year for a renewal. But if you are adding trucks throughout the year, let's say to your IRP, it should be paid for each other truck that you are adding into your fleet, depending on the time of registration.
So if I'm buying a truck, and do I have to pay that $22.90 right away, or is it just a certain month during the year that you have to pay
That's
that?
a great question. Yeah, so it gets paid depending on the purchase date of that truck. So if I'm doing registration and I'm adding that truck to your IRP, if the purchase date is within 60 days of the time I'm doing the temp, you don't have to pay your highway use tax. But if it's over 60 days, we do need to take care of that payment.
So if it's my first truck, when is going to be the first time I'll have to pay that $22.90?
Depending on that purchase date. So let's say, for example, if you bought the truck 2 weeks ago and we're registering it right now in the month of August, you would need to have that paid by the end of September. So you have about until the following month to
And
get
how
that
much
done.
is it?
Depending on the month that you're paying, it's a prorated schedule, so it's $550 for the full year.
Okay.
If you are paying as of August, it's $504, so it decreases little by little as the months go on.
So it all adds up. If you have a fleet of 10 trucks, that's about, what, $5,500
Yes.
extra in just
Taxes to the...
tax. And now you mentioned the permits for each of the states, I don't know, New York, Connecticut, Kentucky, that's just crazy. If I buy a truck today, I get my license plate, my IFTA, my permits. Is that for life, or do I have to renew those permits?
Depending on the permit. So there's some that you do need to renew and there's some that you don't need to renew. But always give us a call, go on our website, and we would be happy to help guide you.
That's a lot of bureaucracy and paperwork. I just can't imagine if you're just an owner-operator driving one truck, you have to worry about booking freight, making money, taking care of your family, and now we have all that stuff, all those permits and renewals and IFTAs and 2290s. So how do people actually function in this trucking business with all the paperwork? Like, how do people keep track of all those renewal dates and everything? Because I can only imagine that if you miss the date, the deadline, you can get in trouble, right?
Absolutely. There's penalties that would need to be paid for certain states that you miss.
So if someone is a customer of yours, do you guys keep track of all those dates, and do you send reminders?
Yes, so we like to stay on top of everything. So you will not only get text messages, we do send automated calls as a reminder and blast emails as well. We like to consistently keep those important deadlines current. We like to make them very well known so that nothing is missed, so that everybody can avoid those late fees.
So it really could be overwhelming for someone who's taking
Absolutely.
care of their, one truck operation. It is a lot, right?
Yes, it is a lot. It's a lot to handle. It's a lot to keep track of, but that's what we're here for, and we take pride in the work that we do, and you can always reach out to us.
I'm sure there's some overachievers out there. They're like, oh, I can do it all by myself.
Of course.
Have you had situations like that someone thought that they could take care of everything, and then they find out that they missed the UCR or missed the 2290, and they were either, their authority was suspended, or they were hit with a fine?
Yes, we actually do see that quite often where, somebody does their own IFTA filing but doesn't take care of a Kentucky filing. And Kentucky is the most expensive penalty that you would probably face. It's a $500 penalty.
Really?
Yes, and it comes very quick too if the filing is missed. So we do have situations like that, and we do help resolve them, but it gets tricky.
So if someone wants to use your services and they need help or even have any questions, how can they get more information?
By going on our website, allaboutTrucks.us, or giving us a call.
Anna, thank you so much. I really
Thank you.
appreciate your time.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thanks.